Hello, and welcome to Gain Greater Efficiency in the Field with Sage Service Operations. We're going to talk about the newest version of Sage Service Operations today, which allows you to actually take the word service right out of there. The new Service Operations module is specifically designed to, well, continue doing everything that it did before with service, but expand out everything into construction as well, actually removing the prerequisite that you have service management or service receivables in your Sage back office product. What this means for us is we now have a tool that can allow all of you people out there to start entering in your schedules for your jobs, as well as time capture for your entire construction division. So kind of the things that we've added to this version and are now available to you to add to your Sage suite is the ability to view your schedule of your project up to a month at a time, allowing you to schedule out to all of your technicians, your or let's change the wording here, your employees and your subcontractors and your equipment. And you can schedule out or dispatch out that work based on the job, based on the cost code that they're working on, and actually create your job schedule online and available to your project managers or foremen, superintendents who want to be able to see what the project is looking like, how far out are we going, and moving things around to best fit the crews of people working and the equipment and where it's all going to be. These assignments are for your entire crew as well as I pointed out, your subcontractors and your equipment so that we can know exactly where everyone's at to the point. And on top of that, all of this is tied in to allow us to do time capture in the field as well. We allow GPS-enabled punch-in, punch-out, including breaks, lunches, and even suspending time if we had to leave early or anything like that. Now, you, of course, can still enter in your time, flat time, say I work 2 hours and have it signed off by your manager, things like that. But we now have the ability to do punch in, punch out, GPS enabled, so you can know where your people were when they did it. And allow for multiple levels of approval depending upon the time entered. And we'll go cover all this in the demo here in a minute. Now, how does this all work and how does it connect back into your Sage database? Well, the answer is it's cloud-based. It's allowing you to use any type of device, whether that's a tablet, a smartphone, a laptop, anything, to enter in and have access to all this. And it's designed to connect in with your Sage database so you can quit, it's automatically pulling in your job list and your cost code list. And all that information is then stored within the field to allow you to capture it, do it, and push back all that payroll time directly in your payroll module once everything's been fully approved. Now, let's go ahead and jump in and actually see what the product looks like here. Now, I've already got my view set up here as an employee coming out to do some work. I'm going to actually change hats a couple times. There's 3 major portions of the software we're going to touch today. The first one being our dispatch board or scheduler, as you might want to call it. Then we're going to switch over to what the employees look like and also talk about foremen. So with this software, there's really 2 major roles that are going to be using this. The foreman superintendent role is somebody who has the ability to schedule out all the work to everyone else. They can enter time for themselves and their crew, and they can also do daily field reports. And of course, we also have the ability for your end users, your actual employees, to enter their time as well. So the first hat we're going to wear right now is your foreman / superintendent / scheduler role, which can be split up or shared depending upon your settings that you want to do. I also have ability to take a map and see all this in 2 different views. So the first thing you're seeing here is on my screen, I've got a week view of my schedule for my jobs and my people and my equipment and my subcontractors. Now, if you happen to be a service user, this also allows you to see your work orders on here as well. So you can see your scheduled out work orders alongside all of your miscellaneous time for your employees and the construction jobs they're going to be working on. I can flip over here and add in all of my construction jobs and schedule them out to all my different people. So in a case like this, maybe I'll pull up to today and see that I had some vacation later on in the day. I also started some work earlier, but maybe what I want to do is start scheduling out some time over the next couple weeks for some of my employees. I can take and say, well, I'm going to go ahead over here and we're going to do some site work, and that site work, well, maybe Andy's going to come out and do that today, and we'll schedule that out on a dispatch. And we'll also put in some site work for some of our dump trucks and lift trucks and things like that, and all that will be scheduled, put on here. Now, I do apologize with my screen. I have a little bit of a refresh delay on here, so shouldn't be a normal process, but it allows me to put in all this time, schedule them out, and see my entire job at a glance over the last month or next 2 months. I can pull in here and see where we're going, hovering over telling you what type of work are we at, where's my equipment going to be at, my subcontractors, my employees, all those people, where they're going to be, where they're going to be going, and what had happened in the past. All this stuff is being scheduled out so that your foreman, your technician, or your employees, your technicians, and all those people can come and access and do the work. And on top of that, we do allow for a map, and with my sample data, everything's spread across the United States here, but I can actually, as part of all that dispatching out and scheduling out our jobs, I can also see where on a map everything is located at, whether or not that's job work orders, so let's take work orders off in this case. I can see where each of my jobs are located at and where all my recent activity as well for anyone that's punching in and punching out on their time. It's all available on a map, tied directly back in with my schedule, tied back in with the time that they're punching in and punching out and entering through. So how does this all work in terms of the actual people doing the jobs day to day? Simple enough. We have each day come up and your employees or your foreman can enter in time. Now, as I said, there's two hats. I'm going to stay with the foreman superintendent hat as a starting point here. So your foremen are going to be able to come in here and say, well, I got this job, got to do some drywall. I've already done some drywall earlier today, but now I got to do some wood framing. So I'll actually delve right in here to my Northwest Food Warehouse job that I've been scheduled out, and it's supposed to be 9 hours today on my schedule. Now, when I get out to the job, I can actually hit work start and start the clock on my assignment so that I will begin my clock and get paid for it. By the way, I apologize, I'm not set up as a foreman on this particular job, but if I had all my other people assigned out to here, maybe my crew below me, I'd have all of them available with a single button that says, click here to start them all together. I can put everyone's breaks separately, maybe everyone does the same lunch, everyone does the same complete. But as a foreman, superintendent role, you're going to be able to enter in the time for all of your people below you, and of course yourself as well. And if I was an individual employee coming up to do their job, this is the screen in which I can pull up on my job and just have this on my tablet or even my smartphone. If I go and shrink this up, this site works great on smartphones as well, where it turns everything into buttons. So your employees can just pull up on their smartphone and say, well, here's the job I'm working on, go to their assignments, hit work start. You know, if this was Andy coming out to do his work, he could say work start. And when I get to my break, I just pull back my assignment and say, oh, start my break now. And the break starts at that point. And when I get ready to come off my break, I hit break end. And you just keep this process going. We're going to track your breaks and your lunches and your end of day completion as well. All tracked along in there so I can get that all done and complete that job. And that time that I put in there will then flow back into my time card at the end of the day. Now, again, you always have the ability to add time straight. If you prefer to have your guys just enter in, I work 2 hours at this cost code and 2 hours at that cost code and 3 hours at this cost code, completely doable. You can set that up however you want. It's very flexible in the options on here. I just happen to have mine set up to where the cost code's already been scheduled out for me, and I'm just clocking in, clocking out. You can also schedule it out as a generic job and allow your employees to enter in their time and cost codes themselves. So if you prefer, you say, well, they're going to go out in the job and they're going to work on 3 different things, so I don't know which one they're going to do today. You can let them pick and decide, and you'll get a little drop down when you're doing all that. Going back to my assignments page, I can see that that brief amount of time that I just clocked in and clocked out has been put onto my calendar, 0.02 hours, and earlier I had the same thing. And all this is going into my daily time. But I can also put in things like vacation or sick time or shop time that's not going to jobs as well. And again, because this is also connected to your service department, if I do ever work on a service job work order, I can put those times in too. We cover everything on the time as it goes through. At the end of the week, I just submit my time card. And by the way, going back to that whole foreman versus employee role, if you're an individual employee, you can sign off and put in your van mileage or truck mileage that you use, comments, notes, add a signature, and go. If you're a foreman, you're going to be signing off saying that your time is all correct as well as all the people below you, and you submit that time. All the time then at that point is then flowing into our timesheet report, which I'm going to actually pull up on my other site as it has a little bit more data to show with on this portion here. But all of that time is going into our time review so that you can then come out and do your approvals. So right away, first thing I'm going to do as a approver, I'm going to have different, well, let's just start this way. You can have different types of approvers based on the type of time coming into the system. So if you're using a service, you can set up your routing and your service time approval in a certain route for the people. If you have miscellaneous shop time type stuff, maybe you have a different route and approval. Maybe it's only the human resources person verifying that. If you're working on a construction job, you're going to have a different approval for that. Project manager, supervisor, office staff, payroll manager. You decide how you want these approvals to go. You can have up to 4 on a job, up to 3 on any other type of time. And in here, as I log in as a project manager, or as a supervisor, or an admin like I am right now, you'll see everything that needs to be approved on time, and then you can start delving in and verifying it. So I can make sure that Justin did in fact work for a quarter hour on this particular job, and I can edit it if I need to. So we have the ability to edit time. We can approve with comments. So I might say, well, I'm approving his time, but I might want to make mention he did extra work this day, so time is going to look strange, or whatever you want to put it there. It could be no, could say I changed his I changed his cost code to this because he had it wrong. Right? I mean, whatever you want to do for comments. And then as an approver, I'm going to sign off and say this guy is approved, and I'm going to sign off saying he's approved. So absolutely track your approvals. You'll see them highlight up as you get through. And once everything's been approved by your project managers and your superintendents and everyone else, you can then export this timesheet right into payroll. So this will then convert into payroll time and have that be job costed, and you'll do all your certifieds through the system, and your pay types and everything else will go through there and track back. Going back over to my assignments page, those employees will have all their time on here as available to look at. But also note we can do a little bit more on the construction side beyond time capture, beyond scheduling. We do also allow you to do daily field reports in the software as well. So going back over to that Northwest warehouse job that I was working at, I can come in and run a daily field report for today. I actually created one just a little bit ago. And I can do my dailies, again, on a smartphone or on a tablet or on a laptop. Again, smartphone is going to change it into buttons that you're going to be able to press and enter in your information, such as notes. And I can say, note in nothing out of the ordinary. I can even do speech to text on my device, or even create your own drop-downs if you want to be able to say custom things that are going to come up a lot. I can cut in and put in any subcontractors that came out. We're tracking these directly to your vendors in Sage. So this is pulling right from your Sage accounting system who your vendors are. It's going to pull in and allow for any types of unitary billings that you're going to want to capture on here. What's the weather look like, any events, visitors, equipment that were used that day, materials, and of course, a place to do your walkthroughs and pictures. We can even go above and beyond. You can take pictures as you go do your walkthrough through the job, and you can even do markups on them and then email those out to people. At the end of the day, we can generate the daily field report so that you can see everything that's happened and create this as a PDF document to send out to everybody. And we save all this in the cloud so that it's available to you. Lastly, one other piece to this is we do have the ability to create custom reports as well. So think of your safety checklist that you want to do, or another thing that I've had people use on the daily field reports is create simple change order requests or potential change order requests or RFIs. They don't tie back into the rest of the system, but you can absolutely create a report that will automatically capture a potential change on the daily and email that over to somebody to take action on and create an actual change request in your accounting system. Or, hey, here, I have a quick question for you, and then that'll shoot that off. Safety reports, violations, things like that are also part of there. I see a couple questions here that I'm going to answer in just a minute, so I'll pop back over here. That brings us really through what the big changes are with the service operations to give us the new service operations for construction people. I'm going to answer the questions in just a second, so if you do have anything you want to start throwing into Q&A or chat, I'll get those answered in a minute. Before I do, I just want to let you guys know, if you are looking to add this to your Sage accounting system, you can contact us at 800-858-7095 to talk to your Sage account manager to give you some exact pricings. We do license this per user, and those users come in either time entry only type users, such as your employees entering time for themselves, and we also have the foreman superintendent roles that give them the access to all the other things we talked about today, so you can right size this to the right amount of people you get to. We're going to spend the next 10 minutes on question and answer. If there's any questions I'm not able to answer, or I need clarification on, or you just forgot today and you want to ask me later on, my email address there is right on the bottom. It's vincent.pate@sage.com. And I'm going to go ahead and switch over and start answering questions. Also, if you'd like me to unmute your line so you can ask your question via phone, you can absolutely do that as well. Just throw that into chat and I'll unmute your line. But I do see a couple people asking, well, it's the same person, but different ways. In any case, the question is, how is this different than Sage Construction Project Center? So Sage Construction Project Center is a full-on project management in the cloud, allowing you to access your job costing information, change management, RFIs, submittals, documents, things like that. There is a little bit of crossover in the service operations, specifically on the daily field reports, because it can also do daily field reports. I would say really what your end result is going to come down to is what are you looking for. If you're looking for the full-fledged collaborative project management, that's going to be the Construction Project Center. If you're looking for time capture and basic job daily field report entering and, of course, job scheduling, we're going to look at service operations. And if you're looking for both, there's nothing stopping you from going to both either. And the next question I see here is, are the field reports retained under the general job ID or just a specific work order number? The answer is going to be their job ID. It's actually tied back to the same job IDs that are in Job Cost or Sage 100 Contractor. In fact, when I go to the daily, you'll see right here is my job 03001, and I can also click on that job to see, kind of what has happened on that job in the past too. I see who my job team are, including equipment and subcontractors that are working. I can see all the assignments that have come on there. So as a foreman, superintendent, I can come in and start people's time and end it and things like that. I can see all the previous work field reports that have been entered in, and also work orders. If this is tied to your service department, I can see what work orders have gone to that too. All the different reports and attachments and things like that as well. So absolutely connected to the jobs in your job costs or in your Sage 100 Contractors job field. And someone asked, can time be entered weekly without the start-stop function? And that answer is also yes. So for those companies out there who have employees who you 100% trust to put in their time, of course, you still have the approval process to verify, but you don't have the government or state regulation saying you have to punch in, punch out. you can just say what we call time entry classic, where they can enter in and say, yep, me and my crew of Larry and Dustin all worked today for 3 hours on a particular job. You know, the Northwest Food Warehouse is the one that I typically work off of here in my system. And we are all doing drywall, and I can save that in there. Now, I think I might get an error on at least one of those guys saying that they're not actually members of the job. So that's one of the things you'll want to set up is who the members are, but you can absolutely put in the time straight on here so you don't have to worry about that. It's the same way you can also enter in time for sick or vacation, things like that. Okay, any other questions out there? All right, if we have no other questions, I'll give you guys some time in your day back. I should have let you guys know in the beginning this wasn't going to take up the full 45 minutes it was scheduled for. So if you do have more information that you want to get that you think of later, again, email me, vincent.pate@sage.com. I can handle any technical questions for you or get you to the right person if the questions are more about pricing or implementation or next steps. Or if you just want to go straight to your account manager, there's that 800 number on the screen that can get you to those people. I thank everyone, and I will be sending out this recording here very shortly so you can distribute it amongst your office. Have a great day.